Cost is a part of any RV build, whether it's made on an assembly line or made to order. Although an embassy-controlled custom build isn't nearly as expensive as a fully customized build, they aren't exactly inexpensive either. There are RVs out there that are built to fit pretty much any budget. Some made with quality materials and some not so much. But once you start getting customization, the price can go up considerably, no matter what the quality of the build. As most of you know, we finally have our Embassy RV. Now, I don't ever talk exactly about prices. Things can change too quickly for that. If you're interested in an Embassy RV build and want more information on real costs, you need to speak directly with Embassy, as they price their builds based on whatever the current material costs are, and I just can't be that accurate. Understand that many manufacturers charge more for a build, not because they are necessarily greedy, but because they want a consistent price throughout their fiscal year. They need a lot of leeway just in case material costs go up, like what's been happening during the recent unpleasantness. To keep an advertised price stable throughout the year, they need to start off with a rather hefty profit. On the other hand, custom builders like Embassy may change their price at any time due to various factors. The van manufacturers increase their prices, material costs go up between one build and another, or as happened most recently, some items like appliances are just not available. The manufacturers either can't keep up with demand or can't get the parts they need to build a product. That means Embassy has to find other quality sources for those items, and many times that just costs more than the original products. Embassy does build in a profit margin. I mean, not much point in doing all that work for nothing. But their profit margin isn't nearly as high as you may find from manufacturers of RVs that aren't built to order. Those that may use a dealer model, for instance. This means builders of customized RVs can't ignore increased materials costs for very long. So if the price of materials goes up, like it has during these inflationary times, Embassy needs to do the same. And this is what that looks like. Usually, manufacturers who use dealers set the sales price of their RV based on their costs, in red, and a large profit margin, in blue. When their costs increase, like when materials go up in price, it will naturally take away some of their profits. But since the profit margin is already high, they don't need to increase the sales price of the RV. Although their profit margin has been reduced, they are still making sufficient profit, so don't need to change the price for that year's model. Dealers, on the other hand, do have to worry about cost increases, so they may not be willing to reduce prices from MSRP by as much as you may think, so keep that in mind. Custom builders still set a sales price based on costs, but don't have such a large profit margin. They are basing the selling price on how much profit they want, shown in blue, for the amount of money they needed to spend in building the RV in the first place, shown in red. When their costs increase, it can significantly affect the profit margin, so much so that it would not be worthwhile doing the builds anymore. So they must increase the sales price of the RV in order to keep the same amount of profit. Now, some customers like to have a consistent price when buying a product, and that is understandable. They want to be able to see a price for a specific year and model, regardless of other considerations. These kinds of customers tend to prefer the dealer model, where you can see the MSRP, then they work with a dealer to bring that price down and find a mutually agreeable sales price that satisfies them both. Embassy's controlled custom business model isn't designed that way. Customers don't get an MSRP and then have to deal and haggle to bring it down because, well, There isn't one to begin with. The price is the price, and is based on a profit margin for the cost of a specific vehicle build. If prices go up for vans or materials, then the build costs more, so the price has to increase based on the new build cost. So which sales model is better? It depends who you ask. Some people like being able to haggle down the price, while others just want the best product and value for the money. It's up to you to decide. We're very happy with the Embassy build and the price we paid. It was fair and, in my humble opinion, the best value out there. So what did we spend? Like I said, I don't talk about exact prices, but I can say this. We spent less on our Control Custom Embassy RV than any MSRP I could find out there for the same class RV. That means Class B RVs built on a 22-foot Ford Transit 350 heavy-duty all-wheel drive van. That cost includes spending almost $1,000 on the C head toilet, over $5,000 getting the van coated with ceramic and adding tinted windows, adding screens, floor mats, the additional cost for the 920 amp hour batteries, and having Embassy change the wardrobe closet to 4 drawers, all of which cost about $3,000 total. But I'm not done. I include the cost of everything we bought that we would never have bought if we didn't own an RV. That includes hoses, a 10-gauge extension cord, pots and pans for the induction stove, water filters, camping chairs, and a table, carry bags for everything, and even more. That was almost $1,000 tacked onto our costs. But I'm not done. I'm also including what it cost for us to rent a car and drive to Elkhart with those high gas prices we had at the time, around $5 a gallon. Hotels for 2 nights and food. And we don't eat fast food either. That was over $1,000 on top of all the rest of the expenses. Oh, I almost forgot. I add in tax, title, and license too. So we spent almost $21,000. And after you add in the van and standard bill cost, it was still less than the MSRP of those other Class Bs in the same class. RVs that have no customization, that you have to spend time haggling to get the MSRP down from a dealer, and that you still need to pay titles, fees, and taxes for. Granted, you won't be paying MSRP. So let's say that the price was $175,000 and you were able to, after many hours, get it down to $132,000. A $43,000 savings. Great. But then you have to add taxes and title fees, and there's probably some kind of dealer cost tacked on for good measure. If you add $12,000 for that, you end up spending $144,000. And that's for an RV that wasn't customized, that you had to spend time to get the price down, and doesn't include all the hoses and other stuff we included in our costs. So let's up that to $145,000. All that said, prices for Embassy RVs are going to go up. Ford has increased the Transit price by around $7,000 for the next model year. And that's an additional cost that has to be paid for. But Ford is increasing prices on all Transit sales, not just for Embassy. And I'm already seeing those price increases by other manufacturers for their 2023 models. Of course, there are a lot of other RV choices out there. I love the Coachman Beyond and all the various Storyteller builds. There are used models out there that cost less and are probably a good deal, but there's no free ride. So whatever you choose, it's going to cost. How you choose to deal with that, well, that's up to you. Be seeing you.